Hello, hello. Welcome to this pick a card reading as part of Grounding into Gaia, episode 7. If you haven't been over and watched episode 7 of Grounding into Gaia, do consider watching that before watching this or afterwards, whichever you choose. It is linked in the description box. I'm Samara, and today we have the Triple Goddess reading on the theme of embodiment. Triple Goddess being representative of different aspects of the self to be integrated that are already working together within you, but you may or may not be aware or accepting the full capacity to which they can work together for your expansion and joy and enjoyment of life. So I won't say much further about it, but I will describe short overview what this reading is about. We're taking a glimpse into what awaits you as the next expanded embodiment of yourself, and what blessings are on the other side of this transformation, growth phase, and what challenges you may be faced with or are avoiding at this time that your guides would like you to be aware of so that you may more easily move through these growing pains. So I have 6 versions of the Empress card. The Empress came out as the representation for this reading because the Empress in the tarot deck is the embodiment of all 4 queens in the deck. So she is mastery of the 4 elements, of the feminine aspect of the 4 elements. This reading is genderless. So however you feel, identify within yourself, know that if you are drawn here, that there are messages here for you. Okay. I will give you a chance to look at these cards and make your selection, and I will see you in your reading. Hello, Pile 1. You chose the peacock as your representation of the Empress. So let's see. Where'd it go? There we go. Let's see what the messengers of light and your guides have to tell you, show you about embodiment and the next version of yourself that will be walking this earthly plane. Take 3 goddess cards. Oh. There's only one that fell. Okay. The top one. Okay. So Let's see who is here. We have white buffalo calf woman, the prophetess of the sacred way. My heart is a compass. The path of love is true abundance. Just back a bit. Then we have, I'm going to hopefully not totally pronounce this incorrectly. So I'll say Zhu Huanjing, the mystic of peace. I am peace. When my mind is clear, the way is clear. And then in Hedwana, the high priestess, I am one with my soul, and my soul is a legacy of love. So the aspects of yourself, of your expanded self, they'll be coming together. So some of these aspects that are coming through in the goddess cards, you may be very well aware of. Some are forgotten aspects of yourself, or some is a representation of something you're suppressing. So it could be anywhere in your consciousness or in your conscious awareness. Your Empress embodiment is one of leading with a true dedication to beauty in all things, harmony in all things. But this comes from a wisdom of having been through a lot of challenges and a lot of unpleasantries. It's a wisdom that has come with experience. I feel for some of you, well, this may come out in the challenges, but we'll see. I feel for some of you that there's been a difficulty in embodying the wisdom because of how you received the wisdom, which may point to having felt naive or like it was your fault, your mistake. It happened because you were to this, to that, not enough of this, not enough of that. And in that, but on the other side of this expansion, there is a version of yourself that finds a very deep sense of self-love. And I'm going to say this very bluntly. I feel that there is a balance of self. These are the words they're giving me. Your self-love will become so strong because your self-hatred has been so strong. There has been moments of a very deep loathing of the self. Some of you acknowledge this and some of you not. If that doesn't resonate with you, this may not be your Empress. So what then you also have is this return to a purity of thought. An ability to not be the impetus of your own drama. So not causing drama in your mind and therefore drama being caused in your environment. Right? There is a mastery of this, of inner peace and of the power of peace, the power of a peaceful mind. When I was doing a little pre-meditation before I started pulling your cards, or I started recording rather, the Garden of Eden came up, and simply in its representation of a paradise. And I feel that this paradise exists first in the garden that is your mind, and in your ability to be at peace and enjoy, embody the power that is within peace. With Eduana, the high priestess, I am one with my soul, and my soul is a legacy of love. I feel this is bringing everything together in your ability to embody the parts of yourself that you have hidden, ignored, disliked, and taking that all together as this is all part of me. Once again, I mentioned in the intro, but if you haven't watched the discussion and channeled message video that is associated with this video, then what we're talking about here will become more clear once you've seen that. So you could watch that after. I'm going to get clarifiers, or I'm just going to go deeper with some tarot. Okay, what can I clarify for pile one, please? I want to take that one too. Okay. Oh, that's a lot. Okay. So we have the Six of Swords, the Princess of Cups. I'm going to move this down a little bit. The Six of Swords, the Princess of Cups, which is the page, the Four of Swords, the Power card, Freya, which is the Emperor, Princess of Pentacles, and the Seven of Staves, or Wands. So the journey here for you, pile one, is what came through in the meditation beforehand as well was time bender, air bender. Those were the words that were given to me. So there is a sense of wanting to or trying to move forward. And that could also be a physical move of place or a change of your environment. However, I feel that there has been in the past blockages to your moves because of deep-seated beliefs, traumas, triggers that end up restarting cycles. So your challenge will be in slowing down. Say will be. It is. If because this transformation is likely going on whenever you're seeing this. There is a challenge for you to slow down and bring your awareness to what is driving you and what thoughts you are allowing to steer. Because they're pointing me to this chariot, Freya in her chariot, and the two cats that are running the chariot. What's running? Drawing the chariot, pulling it. And it's being pointed out to me that cats are also very stealth, right? They can sneak up on you. They're quiet. They can be, right? And so some of your thought patterns are they're hidden, or they move in silence. They move in silence within you, but they are pulling you in certain directions. So for you to be this, to reach this expanded, exuberant self that you can be, as represented by your peacock here, peacock Empress, you must practice more deliberate creation. And in that, there's also an integrity of your actions. So not saying yes when you mean no, for example. Not saying, yeah, oh, let's see how that plays out, and then hoping that it doesn't go well, right? Hoping that you won't have to do it, whatever that is. Help a friend move, work on a certain project, go on a certain trip, right? Or go out to a party. Like, yeah, I'll go if it doesn't rain. Meanwhile, you're home hoping that it rains, right? Right? And what this is doing is misdirecting your energy. So I'm hearing and feeling that there's been more energy put into avoiding things or pushing away things that you don't want than creating things that you do want. And this then there's just been more effort in, maybe you've successfully pushed away things that you don't want, but you're not able to replace them or to bring into your reality the things that you do want, as represented in this lovely peacock. So what I'm getting here is that, as it said in the channeled message, it feels like heavy lifting, but it's just a little loop that you're in that, you keep. So this person in the boat, I can't tell if they're very happy or not. But there's a feeling here of wanting to move to a happier place, but still staying in unhappy energy, unfulfilled energy, and focus on what's not working and avoiding pain rather than creating joy. And this shift in your focus will make all the difference. Because in this, I'm not getting that these are other people. I'm getting that your own actions are working towards yourself. So the Seven of Staves, the Seven of Wands, I often feel and interpret as needing to stand your ground and be individual in a situation, environment where there's either people against you or people who would rather you take other actions for whatever their interests are, and you standing your ground. This, I feel, is all of your own actions. And some of those actions may be because of wanting to prioritize other people, or not wanting, being used to prioritizing other people's needs, not wanting to disappoint other people. So once again, doing things to avoid what you perceive as negative or undesirable outcomes, as opposed to doing what is good for you or is what would bring you the most peace, as one of your goddesses here represents. And I feel, we'll see what the cards say, but I feel that this being at peace with certain people not liking what you do, certain people being disappointed, and also being at peace with things that you can't affect the outcome of because it involves other people's free will. That's how it came out. I haven't, let's see if it wants to be clarified any more deeply than that. That's a lot of cards, and they all fell on the floor. So what do you want me to do with them? We're not going to take them. But we are going to take this one. You're my first reading of the day, so I don't have the warmest, fuzziest voice yet. And I'm warming up. Okay, do I want that one? We're going to see what that is. Yeah. Okay, so we have the Ace of Voices, we have the Hermit, and we have the Queen of Materials. So, and the card that I kept pulling it, but it didn't really want to come out, was the Eight of Voices. And I'm showing it to you because it's coming out as kind of a danger or something to be aware of, because these are all positive aspects for you on the other side of this veil. The Ace of Voices, I feel a big freeing of the mind, a relieving of the mind, and a new mindset. And you see that there's also these, I think they're Tibetan prayer flags. They may not only be in Tibet, but they're prayer flags. So on the other side, in your next embodiment, next chapter of embodiment, I'll call it, your messages, your prayers, your wishes, however they come through for you, they are more, you will start seeing them manifest. You'll see them come into being. And actually, you're going to get really good at it. Like, it's going to be fun. It's going to be light. It's going to be seemingly from one day to another, because you will have tamed, I want to say mastered as well, mastered your mind, in that you've tamed your negativity, any negative thought processes you've tamed, and you're allowing your wisdom to lead. So flipping all of the situations, all of the things you've experienced in a way that serves you. And you have the owl here for that wisdom that is now soaring and creating from that space. What's also on the side of this is some peace. It could be a little bit of isolation, but this will work in your favor, because you'll be living in a space where not everyone can really hang with you. Not everyone has something beneficial to offer you. Not everyone can reciprocate what you have to offer them. And I feel that here you are also, as they're pointing me to, like, these, are they footprints? Let me just look a bit closer. Yeah. It feels like a walking away. Like you've left to be in the sun. You've left to be in the wisdom, the deep wisdom. You've left to be in comfort. So there's toxic situations that will no longer play out in your physical reality. And then you become, from the Princess of Pentacles, you become the Queen. This is the Queen of Pentacles, the Queen of Materials. So really being able to step into them, hearing the truth of who you are, and creating from that peaceful place. Now, they're leading me back to these cards just to, and giving me you have the warrior, you have the peacemaker, you have a wise warrior, you have an embodiment of peace, and then you have a spiritual leader, if you will, but more leading by example. Because the union with yourself is so profound. So some of you who chose this pile have, as I said in the beginning, have been through have battle scars, have been through some things that have left you wounded. And there is a healing. You're in a healing process. But that healing process is not just returning to, if there's part that's returning to innocence, they want to say, but in that purity of enjoyment of life, of inner peace, there's a embracing of that side, but there's also the embracing of the say more mature, learned, experienced aspects of that. So let's see what I have. A couple final messages for you. I'm going to take these. So you have got ninth house exploration. It's card 47. You have number 10, Capricorn, achieve. And you have number 20, Mercury, messages. So we've got a couple of things coming out here. I feel that some of you are going on a, as I said, physical journey, or exploring aspects of exploring other places where you may fit in, whether it's physical, moving, or just moving around in different circles, or trying different careers, ways of working. With Capricorn, achieve. You're being encouraged to be calculated in a positive way, strategic, measured in your action. Remember, slowing down came up for you here. Being slow and deliberate and listening to yourself, listening to your own wisdom, listening to your higher self, listening to your guides if you are communicating with them. But I'm getting a feeling here that you really need to tap into your own intuition and trust your own intuition, repairing the trust with yourself, especially if you have that wounding that I mentioned in the beginning, where you feel at fault for some of the negative things that you have experienced, or that you become aware that you are carrying a feeling of fault or of guilt for or being responsible for some of the negativity that you have experienced, negative experiences that you have had. The bottom of the deck, you have 34, which adds up to 7, North Node, future. I'm going to pull your final oracle, and then I think I'm going to read from the guidebook. I think I am. Let me move this back up so you can just see your card again while we read your final oracle. What does pile 1 need to know? Pile 1. Okay. Three came out. I'm only going to read the top one, but I'll give you the other two. So we have card 33, Peaks of Joy. And then also what came out is ghost lands. So you really do have to be careful about things coming up, creeping up on you from the past. I won't say be careful, but be aware. And this is more, feelings popping up. Someone or some people, some things may pop up from your past as well that trigger certain emotions, insecurities in you to show you that they are still there, right? So that you have some things living in the ghostlands. Remember, you also got the Eight of Swords at the bottom of the deck earlier, which also is about feeling trapped, but it's a trap, it's a jail of your own making, own mental making. So keep that. And this card 17 adds up to 8, which also correlates with the Eight of Swords. Then you have magic prayer, and you had the prayer flags that came up earlier. So praying, affirmations, mantra singing is a good way to release yourself from any thought patterns that come up that put you in spaces of negativity. And they want me to remind you that negative emotions come up. It's just about letting them, moving through them as opposed to resting in them. It's okay to feel something and, you acknowledge it. But it's another thing to replay a situation in your head over and over again, knowing that you can't change it now because it's already happened. Right? So we are on card 33, Peaks of Joy. Your life is filled with happiness, so share it with others. Joy is yours today. No matter what your inquiry, you will be happy with the results. You're coming closer to a sense of achievement, and you've worked hard for it. You're surrounded by true companions and events that are synchronistically arranged to bring you to the next level of your life. The world is singing a beautiful harmony. Life is exhilarating and hopeful. Let gratitude fill your heart and remember to share your happiness. Joy is contagious. All right, pile one, that is what I have for you. I hope that was helpful, and I wish you all the best. Until then, take care, be well, and stay blessed. Bye for now. I've created a collection of workbooks for each North Node sign. Connect with your soul's desires and take an introspective journey into your North Node astrology. This workbook contains self-reflection exercises, guided meditations, and a curated Spotify playlist to accompany on your journey of alignment. Discover your soul today and download your workbook at feministalchemist.com. Hi, Pile 2. Welcome to your reading. You chose this Empress from the Star Tarot. Yep. So I'm going to jump into your reading and get 3 goddesses for you. To represent your next active embodiment. If you haven't listened to the channel's message, I encourage you to do so. It helps you understand this reading and its context. 3 goddesses. Oh, we got 3 goddesses. So, where do we want this one? I originally wanted this one. Well, in the middle, for sure, you have Kali, the mother of the universe. I release all that doesn't serve me. It's time to be the truth of who I am. Parvati, the goddess of devotion. I am a love that doesn't leave. When I commit to love, my soul evolves. Okay. Yes, this is all making sense now. And white buffalo calf woman, the prophetess of the sacred way. My heart is a compass. The path of love is true abundance. So, pile 2. It starts with we have a part of your embodiment that deals with the healthier, awakened, empowered version of an overgiver. Someone whose devotion was misplaced in the past. This devotion was not and is not a negative aspect of yourself, but because certain people, places, or things were not worthy of your devotion, it affected you negatively. More likely, it depleted you, because the first thing I got with your Empress card in the short meditation I did before recording is the energy, the Virgo attributes, which is giving, nurturing, which can be positive, but can also be negative for the person if you are giving more than you have to give and it's draining you. You are, or giving with needing validation in return. 2, 3, it could be negative for the people that you're engaging with if you also if there's an expectation of giving or of reciprocity. Reciprocity is fine, but if it's about if there's guilt involved, I did this for you and you don't appreciate me, and it can be a negative cycle. So what we have here then, Kali, is an embodiment that you have, can have, are destined to have of saying yes when you mean yes and saying no when you mean no, calling people out if they are using or abusing you, and just letting the words come through, letting the truth of your emotions be your truth. Of course, it is your subjective interpretation, but it's not your job to be the all-seeing and the all-knowing, right? You are walking this life through a lens, right? You're living and experiencing through a lens. You don't get closer to the truth by ignoring things that don't feel good to you. So, for example, relationships that don't feel reciprocal or where you don't feel respected and appreciated. That does not get you to your next goddess, which is the white buffalo calf woman, of the prophetess of the sacred way. My heart is a compass. The path of love is true abundance. Where there is not love, you should not be, because you have too much of it to give. So, yes, you can pass through, say hi, have a drink, have a soda, eat an appetizer, right? but these are places where people cannot meet you at your level and therefore cannot appreciate you at your level of, let's say, softness, integrity, dedication, ability to give, desire to serve. If they cannot meet this Empress, then the Empress knows to not bother to be there. The Empress can come with her gracious energy and bless the space with her presence, but she's not going to stay there, right? To have her energy be zapped. I mean, unless she has a strong enough, constitution, she's very sure in herself and her energy doesn't get zapped, right? But in the time that you are um, taking on this heightened, expanded embodiment, there may very well be like you can't be there, and you have to respect that, and you should respect that because it's a respect for yourself. Your devotion needs to be in places where someone like you can be fully appreciated, because then you also blossom and expand further within those environments and with those people. Let me see. I think I already said a lot of what needed to be said, but I'm going to pull tarot anyway and see what is coming out for you as some challenges, things to be aware of. I'm going to take that bottom card. Okay, so we have the Wawalak. What is card 16? Oppression in the reverse. So major arcana. And the 5 of Swords, the 10 of Cups in reverse, and the 3 of Staves, or the 3 of Wands in reverse. So in the traditional tarot, let me move this down for this part of the reading so you can see these cards. Yeah. So in the traditional tarot, 16 is the Tower. You have it in the reverse. But in this particular deck, it's about these sisters who were eaten by a great serpent. And they sat in the belly of the serpent, waiting, crying and waiting to be, or hoping to be saved. Right? So something devastating, but dark, but they do get saved. Happy ending. And in the reverse here, this is about something I heard sitting in the belly of the beast. So there can be very much a darkness that you are avoiding sitting in. But you can't be saved from it unless you're sitting in it, right? It's kind of, unless you acknowledge that you're in the belly of the beast. So I get this feeling of not necessarily wanting to be saved or not recognizing that there is something to be saved from. Now, great news, you can save yourself from it. You're not waiting for anybody. You're only waiting for yourself to recognize that there are there's a process that's going on in your mind and emotions your mental and emotional bodies, is how they want me to put it, that is replaying and rebringing to you conflict situations. And in some of these conflicts, you are winning, but you're winning at a cost of your own happiness. And so I heard the expression winning the battle, but not the war, but not because they want there to be, but because the war is with yourself and with these memories, these things, these coulda, woulda, shouldas. There is a time that you should have been a Kali, that your Kali, sword should have cut off the head and, gone your merry way, done whatever else you need to do in life. Fine. There's something that you stayed too long. There's some things unsaid. So there's a lot with these swords. Things unsaid. Wish one had done. Why did I stay in this so long? Why didn't I say this, do this, right? And other people and other opportunities are suffering at the hands of a past situation that you're living in the shadow of, in the belly of the beast of. And this is making your wishes not come true. And it is keeping you from people who can actually appreciate your full essence. Because there was likely at least one significant, if not several, situations where your devotion and your giving nature was met with animosity, with exploitation, with something that just was not good. Just wasn't good. So this Three of Wands or Three of Staves in reverse it gives me an impression of waiting for something to happen, waiting for something to give, waiting for recognition, waiting for something outside of yourself. But what your soul is waiting for is for you. Your soul is waiting for you to give yourself what you need. I'm hearing advocating for yourself. I'm going to go to the next line of tarot, but your soul is waiting for you to be the love you are anyway, but also advocate for yourself in that you recognize that not While everyone is worthy of love, you do not need to fall on your sword and serve them. You're, you know, you don't need to serve yourself up. To be a loving person. Okay, let's see what's coming out in the next row. You don't need to be a martyr. That's also words that are coming up. I'm getting the Fool. I knew that was coming there. No, I'm going to keep shuffling. More cards for pile 2, please. More cards for pile 2. Okay, I'm going to take it. All right, so pile 2, pile 2, pile 2. That 8 of Swords is troubling me, but I see in this embodiment, yes, you are moving boldly forward, but I feel that there's a hesitancy because it's like walking on new legs, right? This Parvati essence in your spirit, this essence of sacred devotion to life, love, and living things has been that aspect really needs to be nurtured and revived in a way that feels healthy, nourishing to you. That came up in your premeditation. It said, let me get the paper and read exactly what I wrote. It says, you have a lot to give. There are questions of how much you give to yourself and how you replenish your energy. And I feel here that for a while, and we'll see how long, but for a while, there will be still the lingering doubts of people's intentions, right? And if it's safe to give of yourself. If it's safe to have integrity. And I feel you will engage in a process, a fully supported process of curating your life. I'm choosing my words very carefully and letting them come through. Curating your life. You really think about what you want to feel, what you want to experience with this moon card here, what you want to feel, what you want to experience, what inside of yourself wants to be nurtured and nourished. I feel you softening. But at the same time that you're softening, on the other side of this softness is a very strong protector of self. And here we even have 3 female figures, 2 statues, and this woman in the center. And I feel this is a finding of balance between the warrior self and the devoted self. The warrior is also devoted. So I feel that this is the balance between, like, you understand that you can be soft and strong. The bottom of your deck of this latest card is actually the strength card. So some of you may have been maybe completely super loving with some people, and with other people you are just, you are not nice. You don't let them in, you don't give them an inch, you are suspicious of them, you are sharp-tongued with them, and so there could be very few people that you feel safe with. This healthy balance will be on the other side of this when you deal with this belly of the beast situation. I hope I'm being clear enough. Yeah. So if you listened to the channeled message mentioned, there's something that's like, it's just a flick of a switch, but for you, it feels like a huge ordeal. For you, the aspect that feels like a huge ordeal is acknowledging the belly of the beast that you are sitting in. If you haven't watched the channel message, please do. It will just clarify everything. Okay, we're coming down to our final messages. We have card 16, Solar Calm, Clarify. Card 41, Third House, Communication. And I'm going to take the bottom card because it feels like that's the one. And then we have card 1, Aries, Act. So 7, 5, and 1. Yeah, I'll move this back up. All right. So with the card Solar Calm, Clarify, I would feel this is about getting deeper into what you feel, getting clear about what you're feeling, getting clear about what you're angry about or hesitant about, scared of, what you fear, what you're trying to avoid. I feel there's something that you never want to experience again, but somehow you're still experiencing it. Whether because avoidance doesn't make it go away. Avoidance is not making it go away. Communication. If something ain't right with you, then do say so. If you're not happy with something, something is not respectful of you, so some of you have some throat chakra work to do. If you can't write it, if you can't say it, write it. If you can't write it, use your AI writing tool, ChatGPT, and say, write an email, a diplomatic email. These are things you could use it for, and then you don't have to feel necessarily the emotional turmoil or the difficulty of expressing yourself, because the important thing is that you act in your own interest. You act to protect yourself and not just by avoiding or putting up a wall, but by being clear about why you're doing what you're doing and then sticking with what you're doing. I can't accept this role on your project because it does not pay enough money. Or I cannot accept a role on your project because it does not align with my values. And then don't work on the project, don't negotiate it unless you feel, and if you're planning on negotiating it, then say that, right? But for you, it's very important that you move in step with your love frequency, because it is your veins are flowing with it. Some people have blood, you have love, right? But that means that you need a different level of nourishment. You need to hang with people who also live deeply in love. Because when you need to turn that down or shut that off, number one, you become miserable. Number two, possibly hopeless, right? Not even looking out to the sea to look for the ships anymore because you're like, nothing's coming. Everyone is like this. People are not nice. People are users. People are abusers. My life will always stay the same. And when you're caught in that loop, see, you have this to be aware of. When you're caught in that loop, your guides want you to know that then it is really time for you to act and do something about something. And it could be as simple as calling and canceling that party or movie night that you said you'd go to, but you didn't really feel like it, because you don't like one of the people invited, or, you are not to tolerate stuff that doesn't feed your vibe. You're not here to be tolerating situations. That's why I said you got to step in line, spend time only in spaces that are nourishing to you. And if this is something you can't get out of, for example, it's work related or it's family, and you want to show up to at least pay some respect and give a gift or whatever, then have your strategy for how long you're going to stay, how you're going to get out, right? How are you nourishing yourself? That is the question. Let's get a final oracle, and I'm going to read from the guidebook for you for the sun. Ooh, okay, we got card number 6, Mountain. It came out on its side. But yeah, let me do it upright. So I'll read Mountain. Okay. You have the capacity to flow around any obstacle. This is the time to adapt. Sometimes you'll come across what appears to be an insurmountable obstacle, like a huge mountain that separates you from your success. You might think that climbing it or chiseling away at it is the answer, but why take such a treacherous, tedious approach? Be like the rivers that flow around mountains naturally. You'll move past this obstacle relatively quickly if you choose the easy way around. This is the time to adapt to your circumstances. If you do decide to climb, Remember to take one step at a time, opting for the next right action. So, closing message beyond this, or it tied in with this card, is choosing the easy way around may not feel emotionally easy. This is what your guides want you to know. It's the act itself is easy, but your hesitancy or emotional landscape may make it feel like it's not easy. So you're being asked to be objective and see what is the fastest and easiest way to resolve this. Saying a diplomatic no, or saying yes and hoping that something doesn't pan out. Right? That so that you don't have to do it. Yeah. It may feel hard to say no, but saying no, sending that email, sending that WhatsApp message, making that phone call is the quickest way. I'm going to leave it there. So I hope that was helpful for you. If you did not see the channeled message, I do invite you to check it out. And otherwise, I will see you next time. Until then, take care, be well, and stay blessed. Bye for now. I've created a collection of workbooks for each North Node sign. Connect with your soul's desires and take an introspective journey into your North Node astrology. This workbook contains self-reflection exercises, guided meditations, and a curated Spotify playlist to accompany on your journey of alignment. Discover your soul today and download your workbook at feministalchemist.com. Hello, Pile 3. Welcome to your reading. You chose this lovely version of the Empress. So we are going to look into what awaits you as the next expanded embodiment. What blessings are on the other side of this transition or transformation, and what challenges you may be avoiding, or what blind spots there may be in this process. So if you didn't hear or read the channeled message, if you didn't listen to the channeled message, I suggest to do that before or after to get a clearer picture of what it is we are reading into today, what is being communicated here. So I'm going to pull 3 goddesses for you. Again, this reading is not gender specific, but we are swimming in the seas of the divine feminine energy. Okay, 2 came out there. Okay, they're going to come out together. So first you have the cosmic egg. Yeah, I felt that. I hold the universe within me. I am of the force of an ever expanding love. There's this feeling of being held in the great expanse, being held in a birthing energy, and what came out. So as I go through the reading, some of the things that came out in my short meditation preceding the reading, I will point them out. So in the meditation preceding your reading, there was a rebirth of self. So literally this rebirthing, this belly here is you rebirthing yourself. And you're doing that through the rewiring of your mind. But it's not just your mind, as we'll come to see through this reading. There's also a heavy focus on your emotional body and your identity as it relates to your emotional body. Let's see the second card. We have Akilanda. I'm not sure I'm pronouncing that properly, so doing my best. The goddess of never not broken. Everything happens for my liberation. I choose to become only more love. And then you have two goddesses that came out together here. We have Inanna, the queen of heaven and earth. I have nothing to hide. I see and accept all that I am. And Khadijah, the mother of believers. I am spiritually and financially abundant. I provide heaven and earth for myself. There's a very strong energy of independence coming through, and of, I'm going to read from my pre-meditation notes. That the regrowth of something that was cut down. So this could be part of your ego, part of your confidence, that was something bruised, because it also said that, it also came up in the pre-meditation, that something that was once a sore spot, like a source of pain, shame, or remorse, they gave me the word remorse as well, will no longer be a pain point, but will be a source of your sensitivity. So something that you're empathic about, or something that you're particularly compassionate about. And in that, accepting that this brokenness didn't break you, rather it is now birthing a new you. There's an empowerment on the other side of this waiting room, this cosmic waiting room. So hearing you're in a cosmic waiting room. Where you're sitting in a state of expansion, but there's not a clarity of what you're expanding into, who you're expanding into, which is possibly why you're here. And this card for Inanna is saying, I have nothing to hide. You have the word heaven and earth twice, right? Inanna, the queen of heaven and earth. And then in Khadijah's card, it says, I provide heaven and earth for myself. So you become your everything. Your sun, your moon, your stars, your yin to your yang. There's a coming of completion, a feeling of wholeness, and a feeling of being able to feed and nurture yourself in a way that you didn't feel capable of before. In this process, there may be emotions that come to the surface that you were not allowing yourself to feel. So for some of you, this sore spot that becomes a sensitive spot means that it no longer you have a distance from it now. You have enough distance from it that you can have nothing to hide. I see and accept all that I am. And in that, you become spiritually and financially abundant by using that courage to see and be yourself, and to somehow either very directly or indirectly then affects how you share with the world and what you share with the world. So for some of you, this is very direct. On the other side of this is you using your experiences to create your spiritual and financial abundance. Like, very direct. Coaching, public speaking, writing, songwriting, and you may start hearing like someone may start a particular nonprofit or foundation or business that serves people who have experienced something similar to you, such as homelessness. It could be even a financial advisor, right? If you've experienced certain levels of financial struggle or poverty, you may become someone who helps people work out their finances. So I'm just giving a bunch of examples that are coming through, but the possibilities are vast and varied among you. So I'm hearing the word alchemy, and really taking something that was, you choose something that used to be painful to look at, you choose to make it more love. You choose to become more whole by embracing it. And I'm being prompted to say this doesn't mean that you think whatever it was right. It just means you have decided that you are bruised but not broken. And you have no shame of the scar or the bruise, right? So let's get some tarot. What else does pile 3 need to know? Empress number 3, what do they need to know? Oh, look at that. Very nice. What is on the other side of this transformation? What are the challenges they are facing? Okay. So you have the 4 of Staves, which is the 4 of Wands. You have the 7 of Cups, and you have the 8 of Swords. So what's coming up in reverse? 8 of Swords in reverse. So you have possibilities to bring a lot of stability into your life, into your spiritual life, your emotional life, your financial life, a lot of physical stability. You have the ability for stability, yes, to create whatever stability you aspire to. What's a bit of a challenge for you here is that there's so many things you can choose from. And some of these cups, as you see, like one has a skull in it, right? One has paradise in it. One has a snake in it. So some of these cups will be emotional habits, things that you're having a hard time to letting go of, or patterns in your emotional patterns that you're not aware of. But I do see so that your challenge is freeing yourself from emotional patterning, from choosing things that are familiar, or I'm getting a strong sense of suspicion, like not trusting luck, not trusting a job offer, not trusting a colleague, because of times that your trust has been betrayed. Whether it feels like the trust was betrayed by yourself, the universe, situation, or people, right? So in this building of, you definitely are in this golden void where now everything is possible. Like you're alchemizing everything and can create whatever you like. But your challenge will be to embrace that you are the creator of heaven and earth. So you can create your own heaven or your own hell. You are the creator. And so there's the energy of dropping or filing away in some way where it's present and you can do something with it, that feeling of victimhood, right? Being a victim of circumstance or being a victim of whatever life threw at you in this case that we're talking about. Because at the bottom of the deck, you have the Eight of Cups upright, and it's about leaving the past in the past, leaving certain emotions in the past, and allowing for new patterns to emerge, for allowing for there to be new outcomes. Because I don't know if I read this from the notes already, but it said an emotional renewal, perhaps an emotion that you did not allow yourself to feel. So you may not have allowed yourself to feel trusting of anyone or of certain things. There is an energy of some pessimism as well. But underneath the pessimism is deep hurt and disappointment. Let's get some clarity, some further messages for pile 3. What else does pile 3 need to know? Thank you. My voice is a little humdrum today. It's been totally rainy and I haven't spoken to anyone yet today, really, other than the cat. So, what else does pile 3 need to know, please? We have the Muse of Inspiration. We have the Knight of Materials. And card number 20, Awakening. And at the bottom of the deck, you have the Fool. So your advice here from your guides, from our friendly light friends, is do make sure it's time for you to be led by your actions, to be led by what inspires you rather than what you're afraid of. Make decisions based on what you want to create rather than what you want to avoid. And I feel like I said this in pile 2 as well. But because you have the power in your hands now. It's about believing it, number one, and taking measured actions to create them, right? This Knight of Materials makes very clear steps in the direction that it wants to go, so that it is building stability, so that it's not fleeting, but also to make sure that the stones that you are laying, the bricks that you are laying, are of your dream house and not of a temporary shack, right? And in that, there is an energy of waiting and holding out for certain things that you may be anxious or be afraid that a better offer won't come. This is for someone very specific. You may be afraid that a better offer will not come. There will. A better offer will come. A more aligned offer will come. One, they want you to understand that the offers that you are calling in, romantic, career-wise, the apartment you're trying to rent, the car you want to buy, that they're a reflection of where you're at energetically. And so the waiting period is also an attunement period. It's a period where you are self-tuning your vibration, your thoughts, how you interact with the world, how you dress, right? How you present yourself, who you spend your time with, how you spend your time, but a lot about how you think about yourself and what you think about yourself and how you think and feel affects how you act and the choices you make. So you're awakening to the reality of yourself. And this is pointing to your heart here. You're awakening to, they're saying, some programming that needs to be released. And so you're being asked to have confidence, with the Fool here at the bottom of the deck. You're being asked to have confidence to walk towards your own light, to go inwards towards your own light, and to not accept any reflection on the outside that is not as bright as what you have inside. So if some offer comes to you and it's not quite what you're looking for, they want you to look at yourself and they want you to turn down the offer or negotiate, whichever one. But they want you to look at yourself. You are to elevate your mindset and your way of operating in the world from one that is operating on a fear-based software or on a lack-based mentality. You are to enter into a mindset, into a way of being that is fully 5D. I am the creator of my reality. And they want you to have fun as you play with these things. Because once you start doing it, you will see the reflections in your life, in your physical reality. But you need to go inside. The way for you to deal with anything on the outside that is dissatisfying to you is to go inside and make something different. Dare to yearn. I'm hearing dare to yearn for I'm rephrasing it. Dare to desire a deeper love. And I feel like this sentence is not just about a romantic relationship. Dare to love yourself more deeply. Dare to desire to be in love with your life, to desire a life that you are truly in love with. Because it's not, they want to give it to you. It is awaiting you. It is there. But you need to meet it energetically. You need to be that version of that person who gets those things. So you have some more advice here. Card 43, fifth house passion. We had, yes, come into your passions. Dare to be passionate and dare to build a life based on that passion. We have card number 1, Aries, act. We just keep getting right now the same messages. And card 41, third house, communication. Okay, you're being act on your desires and ask for your desires. That is it. And underneath the bottom of the deck, you have card 14, debilitated discomfort. It will not necessarily be comfortable. If you're used to saying yes when you mean no, if you're used to shying away from the spotlight or shying away from interpersonal relationships or letting people know you or setting boundaries, it will be uncomfortable. But in this reading, you are very much being encouraged to go inside to your passionate place. And they want me to point out, passion can also be anger. So if there are things that you experienced or witnessed that cause, the heat to rise in your body, your blood to boil, then act on it in a way. I feel like this is like also a very specific message. Act on it in a way of communication. Once again, visual communication, writing, singing, make a protest song, write a poem, spoken word, do an editorial article, put a blog online. It's about you getting it out. You getting it out, because you getting it out is not getting a very specific message again. Some of you may feel like, I don't want to complain, or you may just not want to tell too much of your personal story. And there are creative ways of telling people your story without being direct about your story, right? And you may, as you practice it, get to a point where, when whatever you have established becomes a big success and people want to interview you about your inspiration, then you may be ready to talk about it, right? But I'm getting that through that wound is your gift, is your awakening, is your gift to the world, is your success, is your creation of heaven and earth for yourself. So this cosmic egg that you're sitting in, this golden waiting period, is a gift to you before you get thrust into the world, right? Again, to act, because they want you to act on a new, on a new, what's the word I'm looking for? Intention. I'm getting intention, but I'm also getting impetus, getting a lot of I words, and inspiration. Your motivations, they want different motivations. And that requires you having some time to align with the version of yourself that you are most in love with. Okay, your final card is Sad Embrace, card number 45, and I'm just going to read from the guidebook for you. It came upright. Okay. Okay. This is a message for you. Final message. Loss is a part of life. Let go and allow time to heal you. You may be entering into a period where loss is a theme. Perhaps you're having to let go of a long cherished dream. If so, take heart, for this ending may have been for your highest good. A better and more powerful dream will be realized in your life if you can accept the loss. Relationships based on faulty foundations are meant to end at this time. Disappointment is a form of perception. If your expectations weren't met, a sense of loss arises along with sadness and grief. Express these emotions. Tears are like healing rain that can restore life to a parched inner landscape. Growth is always assured. Whatever the loss, however great it is, let go and experience your feelings so that you may soon see what beauty lies ahead. So I'll leave it there for you, pile 3. I hope that resonated with you. If it did, do subscribe and come back sometime. And I will see you next time. Until then, take care, be well, and stay blessed. Bye for now. I've created a collection of workbooks for each North Node sign. Connect with your soul's desires and take an introspective journey into your North Node astrology. This workbook contains self-reflection exercises, guided meditations, and a curated Spotify playlist to accompany on your journey of alignment. Discover your soul today and download your workbook at feministalchemist.com. Hello, Pal 4. Welcome to your Triple Goddess / Empress reading. So this is the card that you chose. So some of the version of the Empress that you chose, some of the words that came out in your mini pre-meditation, let me just grab my notes here. They say, commanding the seas, oceans of emotion, sacred rage, mothering, standing in power, calling back power. Then the word soiled came. No need to be likable. It's not who you are. We'll clarify that because I'm sure those two sentences don't necessarily link together that way. They can't keep you contained, so they hurt your self-image, so you contain yourself. And then breaking of the dam or breaching of the dam. So let's see what cards come out for you to expand and deepen this message for you. If you have not listened to the channeled message, I invite you to do that either before you continue with this reading or after, or at any point during, then you can come back. It explains in detail what the purpose of this reading is. So we're looking at what the other side of this, oh yeah, she came out earlier. Is she here? No, it was flipped over. Kuan Yin came out earlier. Okay, they are going to put Kuan Yin. Kuan Yin is to be there. So we have Fatima, the mother of Imams. Love is my lineage, and gratitude is my religion. I'm trying to do this without turning on any artificial light. I have a very low light on, but it's daylight, so I would rather stay in natural light if I can, but we'll see how the camera copes with the light. Okay, and then we have Sappho. I've never seen this one. The poetess. I love every inch of my body, and I love the women in my life fiercely. And then we have Kuan Yin, the goddess of compassion. I recognize suffering in order to release it. Curiosity breeds compassion. So As we take a glimpse here into what awaits you as your next expanded embodiment of yourself, the word mothering came up, right? I feel that you have a capacity to come to a place where your wellspring of love is endless and limitless. And in that, you become someone that other women especially look up to. But this reading has nothing to do with gender. This is the first one where I really feel a lot of, there may be less men identifying people who resonate with this. However, that does not have to be the case. But I'm guided to read more about your very first card. And in these readings up to now, I have not been guided to look at the book. So I'm just going to see what in the book they would like me to read to you. Okay, where's the message here? Okay, so I'm guided to read a bit about who she was, not necessarily the book's message about this card. So Fatima embodies the love and fulfillment that comes from living in a state of gratitude. Fatima bint Muhammad was born in the early 7th century and is the only child of Khadijah and the Prophet Muhammad to live into adulthood. She is associated with the title the mother of her father because she cared for Muhammad after her mother died. She is an object of veneration, love, and respect for all Muslims because she supported her father through all of his difficulties. She was a devoted wife and mother of 2 sons and 2 daughters. Her descendants are spread throughout the Islamic world. And they are directing me to the sentence, an imam is a leader of the Islamic faith, and Fatima is considered to be the mother of imams because of the love and gratitude she gave to her family. So I'm going to turn on the light because it's getting, the sun went down a bit. I guess it's going to rain. So yes, in your energy here in this next phase of embodiment, you have this devotional energy, and I feel it's a devotion to your own healing and overcoming of trials and tribulations within yourself that will be inspiring, that lead other people to the strength of their own love. And we're talking love in the universal energy sense, as opposed to just the romantic and who we like and I'm getting the words, the fabric of which the whole universe is created, the threads of the universe. I know it sounds big, but that's good. Big is good. You are expanding. And here there is, I feel like imploding to explode, because that word soiled came up. So for some of you, there could be a great wound of shame. And I'm getting the energy of you not being necessarily alone in this feeling. So either there's a community, you may be in a community where everyone has experienced a similar trauma, if you will, or everyone carries a similar wound in their spirit. Everyone carries a similar assault on their identity. These are the words to give me. You may even have connection to some people who have a similar injury or varying ability. I'm being very cautious with my words. So, and it's coming through in this way. What is coming through here is that you will have the courage to go deep into a personal, if not collective, to a group that you belong to, trauma, and come out on the other side of it with, number one, as I said, sacred rage. It may start off as a sacred rage, but it will come as a very healing. They're pointing me to the healing of, salt water, the cleansing. I feel behind you the power of cleansing. I'm going to clarify with tarot before I just keep talking in circles. So, there's a very strong energy of someone who has, there's very strong mothering energy, but it's more like a spiritual wisdom, if you will. Are these the cards? Because I was talking, I just want to make sure that yes, these are the cards. So you have the Queen of Staves, the Two of Staves in reverse, the Prince of Cups. I'm going to get another one. It's just the bottom card I'm getting. And fertility. We got another Empress. So, and on the bottom you have the Six of Swords. So the Queen of Staves or the Queen of Wands upright. So blessings and challenges coming your way. Possible blind spots. I feel that your own agency is a question mark for you. Okay, I'm reading them all together because it's just coming through as you have more choices than you allow yourself or you believe yourself to have. Some of those choices require you to open yourself to I don't want to call it a new emotional reality. What the notes said, the oceans of emotion. Now, because this is a Prince of Cups, I feel like you may feel emotionally unable or ill-equipped to take the path of dealing with that emotion or letting the emotion surface. It is surfacing anyway. If you chose this Empress, the ocean of your emotion is coming to meet you. It's coming to greet you. And your question is here, what are you going to do with these emotions? What are you going to do with the shadow? What are you going to do with what the waves pull up from the ocean floor? You have free reign of what to do with it. And you're being encouraged to use it to grow a garden. They're calling me to this. I recognize suffering in order to release it. Curiosity breeds compassion. So instead of pushing it away because it feels uncomfortable, there is a encouragement to understand what's in there. And then you have the Six of Swords on the bottom. I feel like this is very peaceful in a boat, just kind of on a little boat tour of your own emotions, right? Can you make the decision to take the action of riding those emotions with compassion for yourself? With compassion for yourself. And I'm hearing that you need to look at how you judge some other people, because some of the judgments you have towards other people are reflective of something inside of yourself that you don't want to see. So you may say, "Oh, people, they're too sensitive," for example. But your own sensitivity, you may feel. So this is an example that's coming up. You may feel that you don't want to show weakness, or that your sensitivity was a weakness that had a negative outcome for you. And so now you are more critical of people who are sensitive, however you define that. You're giving me another example. People who dress a certain way are very, say, extroverted. And if you have some type of judgment or feeling of discomfort with their self-expression, it's mirroring to you a discomfort you have with your own self-expression. So let me put this down a little bit so you can see the cards. Yeah. Let's go a bit further. Any blocks, blessings? I'm kind of mixing it all together right now. I feel like this card. Your reading is not as linear as I usually would be. That's it. Okay. And at the bottom of the deck is another 2 of inspiration. So let me call out what you have. You have 5 of inspiration, which is the 5 of wands. 8 of emotions, which is the 8 of cups, walking away, and the 8 of voices, which is the 8 of swords. So this is coming through as some advice here. Your battle is with yourself, and I was just talking about mirrors. So, and in this card, you have 5 different mirrors, and it's to illustrate to you that the external battles you are feeling that you are having, people standing in the way, people slowing you down, people not supporting you, are battles that inevitably you're having with yourself. And these images of yourself that you are seeing reflected in other people around you is something for you to fully move forward from, not in forgetting, but in allowing those emotions to subside or to not run you, right? We had in the beginning the commanding the seas, right? Calling back power and leaving behind emotional investments is what the words I'm getting now. And that no need to be likable, right? It's not who you are. These are different versions of you, of yourself, ultimately, that you may have created, may have been over the years, and different parts of yourself. They can't keep you contained, so they hurt your self-image, hence all the mirrors, so that you contain yourself. Yes. And that's this Eight of Voices here. It's just time for you to be very aware that there are mindsets, thoughts, and ideals of yourself that you are holding that is keeping you from making the most out of all of your internal and external resources. And for you, it's keeping you from embodying. So taking, words are coming slow today. Taking ownership of your actions and seeing all the possibilities, even when some of the possibilities don't seem attractive, it's still a possibility. It's still an option. And your guides want you to know that you have many options. And the strength of your emotion here, your ability to channel these emotions into something productive for you. This could be the strength of your boundaries. It could be they're saying it's the strength of your love. It's like your sacred rage becomes love. But some of you are blocking your sacred rage because you're afraid it's going to, destroy villagers, or it's going to destroy your life. And there are parts of it that it will, but it will destroy things that are illusionary. It will wash away artifice. It will wash away anything that's artificial. It will expose people and situations for what they really are if you allow the dam to break. They say it's likely it will be uncomfortable at first. Like, why did I say that? Why did I do that? Did I hurt their feelings? Yeah, maybe you did. But maybe you need to let people take responsibility for themselves and allow your emotions to be real and valid. Let's see what the advice is. Now we're coming into advice. Okay, got quite a few cards there. Where are we starting? We're starting here. 54, semi-square quincunx. I never been able to pronounce that word. You gotta look it up. What's 54 adds to 9, and this is tension. Okay, so there is tension somewhere with someone or some situations. So you may be feeling a lot of tension within yourself because things need to be said. Eight of Voices as well. Things need to be said. So I'm hearing that some of you need to ask somebody why. You want to ask why. And you may not like the answer, but something in you kind of needs the answer. Because you have card 16, clarify. So I'm going to put here. Solar calm, clarify. There's something you need more perspective on. There's an internal clarification and an external clarification. And then we have card 32, Hearth, Vesta, which is a 5. And you have card 49, 11th house, community. Where is this going? Okay. This is calling to some type of tension within yourself, within a community. Let the fires of love burn. Some of your anger is because you have so much love within you that is not met. People are not fanning your flame, or places that you're not fanning your flame. But so you have had your flame deadened, dampened, or put in a box, some sort. But it's not who you are. Who you are has a strength that warms the heart of many, that births people into being a fuller version of themselves. You have that naturally in your energy. But if you have felt abused, used, mistreated, or if that is, for example, something that has been pervasive in your community, then you may they're saying it's more than may. You have suppressed a part of yourself. And the dam is breaking, but you're so close. You're so close. And the key is this solar calm, clarify, shine the light on something with curiosity. Some of it may have to be compassion. It may be very difficult, but want to know, ask why. Know that you are entitled to a why. And know that even if this why, if it's a person that you need to ask why, that they may not be able to articulate to you. But they're saying don't expect the answer to be soothing. But do expect that you'll feel better for asking. And if you don't have a person to ask, you can ask the universe why. You can ask your guides why. You can ask for perspective. And for each of you, what comes in return will be what comes, but it will be what you need. Trust that it will be what you need. Okay, we're coming to the end here. I'm going to grab your... Oh, that went flying very nicely. So I trust that this is your card. Card 34, Spark, which is also a 7. Let's read from the guidebook to close your reading. I'm going to put this up so you could see your Empress while I read the card here. 34, 34, 34. Okay. You are a clear channel for divine creativity. There is a spark of creativity in you, and you have every reason to move forward with optimism and hope. Open yourself to inspiration and allow life to show you its beauty and your part in co creating it. This is the perfect time to give birth to an idea, start a new relationship or job, or begin any endeavor. Attraction is high as you connect with others who can co create joyous experiences and join with you in expressing the finer aspects of life. Watching a spark turn to a flame and stoking that fire is a gratifying activity. So, yes, remember we talked about fire. You have the fire within you, and what the warmth you give off will nurture many. Okay, I'm going to leave it there. I hope that was helpful. If it was, you can like and subscribe. And in any case, I will see you next time. Until then, take care, be well, and stay blessed. Bye for now. I've created a collection of workbooks for each North Node sign. Connect with your soul's desires and take an introspective journey into your North Node astrology. This workbook contains self-reflection exercises, guided meditations, and a curated Spotify playlist to accompany on your journey of alignment. Discover your soul today and download your workbook at feministalchemist.com. Hello, pile 5. You chose, just moving my notes here in my way. You chose this Empress from the Wandering Star Tarot. And I did the premeditation. I got a little something different than the words that are on the card here, but I will read the words on the card. It says luxury, beauty, harmony, abundance, grace, fertility, love, nature, beauty again, and art. Yeah. What I got here is a very strong, in my mini meditation before I start the reading, I got clarity and clear vision. I was instructed to put a different crystal beside me while I read, different stone. So clarity, clear vision, finding yourself, return to self, inner child, innocence, reclaiming innocence, and power in your naivete or innocence. Again, but they wanted a little synonym for that. So there's something I'm not going to say anymore. I'm just going to get to the cards. I'm going to go deeper that way. No, I could tune into the energy. Tuning into the energy, there's something about returning to this place of being a little childlike in your thinking, meaning, and that could mean not being jaded by society, believing in good and justice and faith and purity, and believing in magic, because this Empress has a wand here, believing in magic as well. Because I feel that there's an energy of having been around a lot of people in situations where people felt stuck and didn't dare to dream, didn't have wishful thinking, hopeful thinking. And you are like a little fairy amongst people or environments where many people feel stuck or stagnant. So I'm getting the energy of like for some of you, it's a lower income neighborhood where people don't tend to reach a means of being able to move out. A lot of repeating patterns, family-wise, career-wise. But this doesn't have to be, I'm also getting the energy though, that stagnation and repeating of patterns does not have to be limited to entrapments of poverty. This could also be like a middle class poverty, living paycheck to paycheck, or being house poor, right? And for some of you, there feels that there is a lot of abundance around you, stereotypical material wealth, but there's spiritual poverty. Like, people don't marry for love, they marry for status. They don't do things because they're passionate about them or because it brings them joy. They do things for money and, again, status and power, perceived power. So let me go into your first oracles. I feel that not this one wants to come out. I'm going to shuffle. What else for the fifth Empress? Empress number 5. Empress pile number 5. What do they need to know about their transition? The next expanded embodiment of themselves. Okay, we got some interesting cards. I can feel it already. The cosmic egg, divine feminine. I hold the universe within me. I am the force of an ever-expanding love. We have Mary Magdalene, the apostle to the apostles. I am the bridge between heaven and earth. I am fully human and fully divine. And you have Marguerite Porret, the mystic of divine love. Love is divine and I am nothing except love. You're like a little spark of the universe, or you're a big spark, but you're a spark of the universe. You are this orb of light that's flying around, flying around people. And unfortunately, a lot of the people cannot reciprocate what you're able to give them just by being you. You have a way of enjoying life, or you will have a way, like this, your next embodiment I'm speaking to. You have a way of enjoying life that is magical. In the most simple of ways, you create magic. You may be able to be happy with very little because you understand that the universe is within you. You understand that the universe is within everything. So even when you're making a relatively simple meal or just having a simple day off in front of TV with your kids, or I got a very strong single mother with children vibe, but you could also you could be in any living situation, but you know how to make lemonade out of lemons because you understand that it just requires water and some type of sweetener. Right? You understand that it doesn't take much. And if you're not in that understanding, you're coming back to that understanding of knowing that it doesn't take much to make luxury, beauty, harmony, to make art. It takes a personal magic. It takes the addition of the spark of divine within yourself. And you are coming into, if you don't already have a grasp of that understanding, that if you want to make magic in your life, you must be the magic. You must be the magic and invite the magic in through you and through your own action, inspired action, aligned action. You are coming into the knowing that everything that you do must come. Sorry, just checking the light there. Must come, must be infused with love. The intention has to be love. It must spring from love. It must communicate love, and then it will be great, right? In simple and complex ways. So I feel like that's why I just see like a little fairy hopping from flower to flower, being happy with everything because everything they touch becomes magic because they are the magic and they understand that they are the magic. So let's see what else is coming out in terms of blessings or challenges, blind spots that you may have in this journey to your of expansion. Oh, what else for this particular Empress? Three of Pentacles. It came on its side. Something in here very particular that wants to come out. Take. I'm going to take all of them because I think they tell a story. In the middle here, you have the Six of Swords. Okay. And then you have the Eight of Cups, the Seven of Cups, and the Four of Staves, which is the Four of Wands. But it starts with the Three of Pentacles. Oh, the Three of Pentacles. Oh, and this palace here, like the Taj Mahal. There's two ways that this is going. I feel like you do have the opportunity to, okay, I'm going to rewind and just give the whole energy first. As the whole energy of all these cards is you are likely moving away from a community, away from people, or at least somehow, okay, you're moving. And for most of you, it feels physical. It feels very physical. And where you're moving, you'll be able to create your little corner of peace and magic in the world. And then your magic will be able to expand in a way. Because, and if you are not moving, you should be looking to move. As you know, these readings are general. It's like I could talk for hours and give every possible iteration. Home life and community life will improve. Home life and community life will improve. Most of you in pile 5, it's going to improve because you will refuse to be around anything that is less than love and that feels good to you and that can accept you fully as you are. So your innocent and naive nature cannot be assaulted where you are. And you will not stand for it because you'll understand that as your strength. I feel like I'm going to take my mindset and I'm going to go across the river and live with people who have a similar mindset so that we could all like create great stuff together. Because there's this energy of you have the group of people who have, let's go back to lemonade, right? You have the group of people who have the ingredients for lemonade but won't make it and will complain about there not being, iced tea or wine. And then you have the group of people that will say, hey, look at this. It's great. We have stuff for lemonade. Let's make that and sit by the tree and be together. Right? You're choosing pile 2. You're choosing group 2. Why? Because from that sit down with their glass of lemonade, they'll sit under a tree and realize, like, hey, this tree here is actually an apple tree. Wow, we can do something with apples now. So it opens up, once they have embraced that there is abundance around them and magic around them, they're able to see more magic and create more magic. And for you, I feel that there may be a lot of disappointments in the past or emotional investments with certain people where you have minimized your magic and kind of suffered with their suffering. It feels like a misery loves company type of situation. I'm getting the strong message as well that for some of you who are in a relationship, and so it doesn't feel like you're going to be leaving this relationship, this is about entering a new phase in your relationship where you assert your spiritual essence, where you assert your authenticity. Like you're becoming into choice. For all of you, asserting your authenticity, coming into choice, and those choices being the foundation of your life stability and a happy home, a happy community, a happy home. Happy, for some of you, it's a relationship. For some of you, a relationship will come in, a better relationship or a new relationship will come in because you are being that charming, light-hearted version of yourself. I'm just getting a memory or a little story of someone who's faking sophistication. And that doesn't mean you're not sophisticated, smart, or learned, or, elegant, but like being an idea of somebody rather than yourself, because yourself, who is sweet and lovely and imaginative, tends to be taken as immature, can be taken as immature and not as taken seriously. And this has come into your awareness. And this one keeps wanting to come out. It has come into your awareness, and you have worked to not come across that way. So it may even, I'm getting a strong image of someone who changes the way they like to dress, dressing more quote unquote professionally to be taken seriously. You may want to do more fun stuff with your hair or be more creative with your hair, wear your hair naturally, but you wear it slicked back tight in a bun or in a braid, more serious hairstyles. Like whoever, if you've chosen this pile, you have, your spirit wants to be more playful. You are coming into playfulness. You're being invited to playfulness. So, this feels like challenges. You have the 8 of voices, you have the 8 of materials, and you have the 3 of voices. I want to take this one. The Muse of Voices. Okay. I feel here your challenge is that there's been a lot of convincing that you need to be more rational and less magical. More rational and less imaginative, but your power is in your imagination. You have a very, and if you are seeking knowledge and gaining knowledge with people who are like-minded or have been down, people who you admire for their imaginativeness, their playfulness, their authenticity, their youthful energy, then you will learn the things that will assist you, that are a further unfolding of you. But there needs to be a change in your mentality. So some of you may be, as I was describing, like all of this business thinking, business hairstyle. I feel like some of you stepped into a job that was just the safe way to go. Rationally, it made sense, but there's no sense in it for you because it only brings you to this feeling of, I don't belong, I'm too weak, I'm not smart enough, I'm not good enough, I'm too nice, I'm too silly, I'm not serious enough, and you're fighting your gift. So some of you, this is a job, some of you, this is a partner that you're with who is like, why are you so sweet and small? Why aren't you more manly? Why aren't you more aggressive? Why aren't you more, confident? But you can be very confident without having to be like, super high heels and mini dresses and makeup, right? Everyone's confidence comes through in a different way, right? And the confidence is about being in your authentic energy. So if you're not a femme fatale, then you don't need to be one. If you're not a, I don't know what the male equivalent of a femme fatale is, Don Juan, then don't be one, right? Your softer side, you have to learn to appreciate your softer side in order to call in relationships and situations, jobs, and this lifestyle that honors and nurtures your softer side. I'm going to take this card. Am I taking this card? I'm not taking that card. We're moving down into your final messages. Get some advice on how to move forward. I want that one. Don't want that one. The second time this card has come out today. What else for? This is a lot, so I need to know what to do with that. But let me start here. We have solar calm, clarify. These two came out in another pile, so you may have been drawn to that pile too, as well. I won't tell you which number it was. Card 16, which equals 7, solar calm, clarify. Card 49, which adds to 13, 11th house, community. Card 23, Jupiter, abundance. And what am I doing with these? Putting these ones back, and I'm doing a last shuffle. Or we're taking the bottom of the deck. Yeah, 56, progressions, journey. Okay. Because you're so magical, it's very important that you are clear, that you communicate with the universe and communicate with yourself about your desires. So there needs to be some clarity around your desires. And part of those desires, you're being encouraged to think about what type of people, like what type of friends do you want? What type of partner do you want? What do you want to do from day to day? When someone calls you, what type of person is that? Who do you want to hear from? How often do you want to hear from people? Um, because I feel that there is a heavy energy of you not being appreciated fully in your relationships. So a lot of your magic has not been channeled into your wants, needs, and desires. Like they've been curbed, they've been misdirected. There's like a detour. And you're being asked to get back into this alignment with them, make choices that ultimately make choices that are driven by what you would like to feel. And there's a message here of not, if you're continuously feeling this pain, resentfulness, feeling unseen, unheard, unappreciated in some way, then it's time for you to choose differently who you are around and how much time you spend around them. You have this progressions journey, card 56, which also equals 11. And I said, some of you are leaving. Some of you are moving. You are moving. You're taking a job elsewhere. It doesn't have to be the biggest, fanciest job. You don't have to be moving into your dream home. You're leaving so that your energy can be better nurtured and nourished. And that move must happen. You're being guided to go. Happily. For some of you, I'm seeing that you actually may move into a smaller place than where you are, perhaps because you're choosing not to have roommates or you're leaving a relationship. And so you're leaving like a house for an apartment or a 2 or 3 bedroom apartment to move into a studio or a 1 bedroom. But it will give you the peace that you need. The simplicity to make something simple and magical. I just keep feeling simplicity and magic. Sorry if I'm shuffling is loud. But let me get your final oracle then. I want to just, this one under my finger is saying something. Okay. I'm going to read this one, Golden Palace. And it's in reverse. It's card 23. Adds up to 5. And show you your Empress here. Okay. Okay, the word here, Golden Palace, there's always enough. It's in reverse, so the message here is let go of your tight hold on what you believe security should look like. Now is the time to conserve your energy and count your blessings. Resist the pull to become miserly. There will be enough money, love, youth, food, and shelter to go around. A mindset of fear and lack will shut off the flow of true abundance. Trust in the tides, because the flow always returns from the ebb. Chop wood, carry water. As the Chinese proverb says, Practice faith, and the treasure will be revealed. In fact, you'll find it in plain sight. Clarify, clarify, clarify. Clearing your energy field as well. Clearing your field of view, as the muse of voices here suggests. And then you had another card come out. It's short, so I'm going to read it too. Card 12, slow and steady. Slow and steady wins the race. Remember the old cliche, slow and steady wins the race. This is a time for easy movement, unhurried steps, and a steady heart. Trust that taking life at a more leisurely pace will give you greater access to your dreams. Slowing down allows more contact with the juicier elements of your life. Savor them. So I hope that was helpful to you, Pile 5. I wish you all the best, and I will see you next time. Until then, take care, be well, and stay blessed. Bye for now. I've created a collection of workbooks for each North Node sign. Connect with your soul's desires and take an introspective journey into your North Node astrology. This workbook contains self-reflection exercises, guided meditations, and a curated Spotify playlist to accompany on your journey of alignment. Discover your soul today and download your workbook at feministalchemist.com. Hello, Pile 6. Here we go. So you've chosen the Empress Rose from the Herb Crafters Tarot. So what came up energetically during your preliminary meditation? First of all, I was called to sit with an aqua aura point crystal. I don't usually put my crystals on camera, so you can look that up. And normally, at least for me in the work that I do with my particular set that I work with for myself, this particular crystal alludes to Lemuria, lots of nature magic. So for you, I've got a strong earth energy. Nature magic, the magic of nature. Let me get my notes. It said nature, herb crafter, like the name of the deck here. Earth angel. I got Magdalene mysteries, flower power, material magic, fire and earth, resuscitation, revive, and we have the question of honey. Where does it come from? So this will all unveil itself during the course of your reading here. Yeah, I got that. Destruction with resuscitation and the fire and earth. Like burning a forest in order to fertilize the soil. Interesting where this reading is going to go. See where it goes. But the first card you got from is Kali, Mother of the Universe. I release all that doesn't serve me. It's time to be the truth of who I am. I get one more now. Last card for pile 6. Thank you. So next position, you have Lakshmi, Goddess of Abundance. I choose to feel abundance. Wealth is an inside job. And Amaterasu, the Goddess of Light. We are all sacred mirrors reflecting back the same light. Okay, so you have some destruction in order to grow something new. This is on what's on the other side of your expansion here. Your next embodiment. Feel burning down something you've built. Really burning down something you've built. And people may say to you, why? You invested so much. You may be sitting in that corridor right now. Why? You invested so much. How could you just let that go? Whether it's with a person or in a place or at a job. But wealth is an inside job. There's something that is not serving you. And therefore, it's a choice for you to feel whole on the inside. There's a choice for you to feel whole on the inside because you know that you will create more, bigger, and better if you tend to your own internal garden first. Where does honey come from? They just repeated that question. Where does honey come from? Maybe we'll get down to talking about it. Maybe they want you to look it up. But that question has answers for you. Yes. So some of you are already quite successful at what you do, but you're done with what it is you've created. You know, it doesn't serve this expanded, it doesn't allow for your expansion, your further expansion. You have to keep doing what you've always done. And you're and not only are you done with it, your spirit is done with it. You and your spirit guides and expanded version of yourself and the universe, they're all done. Done, finished, next, right? Because the only constant is change. And something may have been true about you when you built the first, made the first investments into whatever it is you are leaving. But it's no longer. Your skill set has changed or expanded as well. And your personal strength has expanded. I'm just moving things around here. I got a very strong, someone in this group is needing or wanting to leave a marriage. That's obviously not everybody. Because that person is a energy vampire and has not invested anything in their personal growth. I'm just going down this road very quickly for who needs to hear it, and then we'll get back to the more generalized thing. If you are in the situation where you need to leave somebody behind, it's because they are manipulative, lying, and or they're keeping you stuck. And even though things may seem on the outside fine to other people, why are you leaving this marriage, this relationship of there's so much wealth you guys built together and you have kids together, maybe even you've built something together. This person does not serve you further. And you have the Princess of Pentacles here. There's so much more Like you're a student of your own light. There's so much more coming. So let me wrap this back into now something more general. You are all students of your own light in this group, particularly at this time of your expansion. And anything deceptive that your house is built on, whether it's self-deception, well, it's all self-deception, because either you're lying to yourself or someone's lying to you and you're not hearing your intuition that it's a lie, that something is untrue. So promises of something that's going to develop into the future, something that will improve. I'll never treat you like that again. You're going to get this promotion. We're going to move here. I'm going to co-sign something. I'm going to find investors. I'm going to show up more consistently. We appreciate your value. We are working on getting you a raise, just not this year. We have to see where we're at the end of the year. These are all no, right? No. There is a house that is built on shaky ground, and you are going to be supported in building your own independent, in collaboration with spirit. And a lot of you are guided with a lot of elemental beings to create material wealth beyond what you already have now. There is a key, though, of you looking at what you've created, assessing looking at where you are in life now. No matter where you are in life, look at where you are now. See your likes and dislikes. What is feeding you? What is draining you? What are your major complaints? And what are the things you look the most forward to? And see where your role is in creating and or upholding these energies in your life, these relationships, these obligations. What is your role? Why are you there? If it makes you happy, why are you there? Just so that you know, so that you can do more of it. If it makes you upset, frustrated, why are you there? And understand why you're staying, so that maybe you can either resolve a fear or find something equivalent but better. Find something that satisfies, but satisfies in a healthier way. If you're doing something out of boredom, and it's something destructive, then occupy your time with something more productive. Right? Just switch it. This is, but understanding your emotional attachment to the different components in your life, whether they are things that you view as positive or negative. Because when you go on to your next phase of building, you don't want to rebuild the same, you don't want to blindly rebuild, right? Material magic. If you are using your resources in ways that are destructive to you that are destroying rather than creating, then it's up to you to change how you use that resource, how you use that material. There's another word they want me to get from my notes here. Resuscitation? That's the one. Oh, you're breathing new life into something. Breathing new life into something. So what you're leaving and what you are creating may not be that far off from each other. It's just that there's some tweaks. There's some tweaks because some of the intentionality was not aligned, or you're not using something to its full potential, or you're using it incorrectly. Or let's say you're using it in a way that doesn't serve you well. So you'll find a new way to use it. Let's see what else is coming through for pile 6. Empress, the Empress, the Rose. Getting a lot about mirrors today. Ooh. Anything else? No, I'm going to leave it like that. I may need more in a bit, but we have the 4 of emotions in reverse, the 5 of inspiration, and the 8 of emotions. A lot of walking away today. Okay. Well, I mean, all of us are moving through this expansion embodiment, and it requires leaving something behind. So that is clear. You have the 4 of emotions in reverse. I feel like they're asking you, like, spare no expense. But this is more your emotional attachments to money, or emotional attachments to some of the material things that you have. You may have trouble letting certain things go. Emotional attachments, because this 4 of emotions in reverse is giving me a mirror of the 4 of staves, which is giving me the vibe of what were the emotional intentions behind what you've built. There's a need to reflect on them. And so when it says spare no emotional expense, I feel that I'm feeling a lot of strong emotion, whether it's joy, pain, anger, that all of that truth for yourself needs to come with the surface, because you can't wield your sword, Kali's sword here, all willy-nilly, right? You got to be clear. You need clarity on what isn't serving you. It's time to be the truth of who I am. And as I said, there's some deception in what you've built, deception towards yourself. And so they're telling me that in the 4 of emotions with the 5 of swords, there's 4 swords that represent these emotions, and there's 1 sword left, and that's only the truth. And that's the truth, and that's what Kali is holding. Just the sword of your truth. You may not be moving forward out of fear. So one of your blind spots is your fear of destroying, your fear of destruction of what you've built. They're saying what you've built is a house of cards now. This may sound harsh. If you don't dismantle it, it will be dismantled. So for some of you, I think this is a very difficult. You may be saying, oh, I think I can stay another year. Oh, I think I can stay, maybe I'll do it for 2028. We'll just wind down and do that. No, this is a very, even if it will take time to wind down because there's that much invested in it. For some of you, it's very quick. It can be super quick. This 5 of inspiration is telling the question came again. Where does honey come from? Where does honey come from? And I'm getting here that there's been a lot of hard work at something. There's been a lot of hard work at something. I'm hearing that some of you have done a lot of hard work on your looks. You invest a lot in your looks, which is not inherently a bad thing at all. But is it out of self-love? Or is it out of appearances? Because there's a spirit of competition. We are all sacred mirrors reflecting back the same light. There's a strong energy of sitting in a competition with oneself more than anything. Because you have the 7 of Cups to the 8 of Emotions, which is the 8 of Cups. There are motivations for doing things that can just no longer be in your energy, being better than someone else. There is a bit of a catty energy coming through for some of the collective here in Pile 6. So like needing your being good requires you being better than someone else. And this is not the best use of the gifts that you have been given. How'd that get in there? Interesting. It seems like I accidentally put some cards in the wrong deck. I was going to the next deck. So let's see what the 6 of Swords has to say. But it's not supposed to be in here. But I'm going to take it as a sign. Let's get some advice for you, Pile 6. I got a high achiever energy here. Yes. 10, Capricorn, achieve. 38, Imum Coli, root. 41, communication. And I want to take this one, which is 21, Venus, beloved. Okay, so yeah. What is your advice here for moving beyond this little veil? Why do you want to achieve? Or what have been, I feel the same messages coming back over and over again. Why do you want to achieve? Why did you want to achieve what you've achieved? Achievement could be anything. It doesn't have to just be career. It could be as I said, some of you, it has to do with your looks and your physical appearance, obtaining certain material things in life. You did have come out material magic in the beginning, right? It could be having picked a certain partner as well, living in a certain place. You're being called to reflect on the root of your desires, and then root of your actions. You start there. I wanted to achieve this. Why? Why? So the intention behind that achievement, where does that come from as well? And then go as many whys, as deep as you can go to get all the way into all of your beliefs, the beliefs that drive you. I'm hearing there's what you can build within yourself for others in the material realm can be much more pleasurable. I want to know why this Six of Swords came out. It could be much more pleasurable. It can be much more rooted in love. I could tell you what I think, but I want it to naturally evolve from the cards. So where do I want to go next? Because I'm holding my thoughts until or I'm at least going to make sure that it's not my thought and it's intuitively what wants to be said. What wants to be said, Spirit? What wants to be said? Oh, I just keep hearing House of Cards. So it is what I thought, but they're giving me the words now. House of Cards. There's something that you think is strong, but it's built on fragility. Something is built on fragility, and you need to move away from it. You will be moving away from it. You're being guided away from it. And that's more the words I should use. You're being guided away from it. I'm going to take that card. Do I need anything else? No. Some of you really need a conversation with yourself, a conversation with business partners, family members, to dispel, to disintegrate this air of dishonesty that is somewhere at the root of this. But this is the veil. This is, remember, if you listen to the channeled message, there's something very, just like a paper thin chiffon waving in the wind between where you are now and your expanded embodiment. There's a dishonesty. You have 42, which adds up to 6, wide open. This is your final oracle. I'm going to read it for you. From the guidebook, and it's upright. It says, you're free to express your uniqueness in the world, to the world, and share in all the bounty of life's endless possibilities. Let me move this up, actually, so that you can see the Empress card here. Okay. All manner of opportunities are presented to you at this time. The wide open card is a signal that you're able to truly manifest your dreams and that your goals are in sight. Don't remain small and contracted. Instead, expand your horizons beyond what you believe to be your limitations. You have a unique voice that needs to be expressed in the world. The universe is supportive of new ideas and approaches at this time, so speak up and speak out. This card is the sign of the maverick who freely roams the wide open space of possibility. Allow for a greater vision to replace old ideas as you dream a grander dream. Yes. I think that encapsulates everything and kind of does give us our little story of the Six of Swords venturing onto the sea of possibilities. Don't remain small. Expand your horizons. See other things.